Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Lauren, and I am about to guide you through a gentle yoga practice where we're going to focus on our neck and our chest. And so, oftentimes, we pair the neck and the shoulders or the chest and the shoulders. Um, and I just thought, why not do the combination we don't normally do, right? Sort of like my motto sometimes. And so we are going to expand through this way, involving the chest, but I'm thinking more sort of lengthwise, right? The neck and the chest, uh, again, lengthwise, vertically instead of horizontally. So we're going to do a little bit of that. Again, chest and our shoulders will be involved. Of course, everything's connected, but we're focusing more neck and chest. So, but like everything, but especially with your neck, everything should be comfortable, no pain, nothing sharp shooting, you know that. But just really especially with your neck. All right. For the practice, I don't think you're going to need anything. At the end of the practice, I'm going to give you sort of a optional supported pose. And so maybe you have your blocks nearby, but of course, you know that. So we're going to start on our back. So come on down onto your back, make yourself comfortable. Take something that just feels good. Something where you can really just rest. Not a lot of work, not a lot of effort. So settle on into something that works for your body in this moment where you are not working. You're resting, you're relaxing. You can breathe easy. And draw your attention to your breath, to those easy breaths. Notice how gentle, how soft and effortless your breath is. Your breath happens with such ease. It has such power. And so imagine harnessing that power by slowing the breath down. It almost seems counterintuitive to create power we would slow down, but that's precisely what we do with the breath. Create the control of the breath, pranayama, breath control, by slowing each breath down. Make each breath longer, fuller than the one before. And allow both the inhalation and exhalation to be long, slow, and full. And you're welcome to just focus on lengthening the breath. Or maybe you also start to even it out. So the inhalation and exhalation are the same length, samavriti. But no matter what, continue to lengthen the breath. Slow down the breath. Control the power of the breath. Stay for 3 more breaths. And after that 3rd breath, return back to a natural breath. Notice how you feel. Continuing to keep your attention inward if it feels right. Take this time to set an intention for your practice. Silently and slowly repeat a positive word or phrase. Allow it to settle into your heart. All right, and then deepen your breath and add some movement. Invite movement around the body, maybe rock the head, wiggle fingers and toes, move arms and legs. Take your time. Allow things to wake up, move around, wiggle, fidget. We're going to be staying on our backs. Give yourself another breath or two, just doing what feels good here. All right. All right. So on the back, knees bent, feet flat, feet and knees about hip distance apart. Arms can be alongside the body or out in opposite directions, but we're going to start with pelvic tilts. So relax through the feet, relax through the legs. This isn't about the legs. We're going to get there, but we're not there yet. So we're focusing just on your torso, on your spine, really on your pelvis. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Inhale, lift the lower back, lift the ribs. Point your belly button towards your thighs. Exhale, push the lower back and ribs down into the ground. Point your belly button towards your face. Move with your breath as you inhale, draw the belly forward, arching the spine. Exhale, flatten the spine, push into the mat. Inhale, lift the ribs, lift the low belly, create a rainbow shape with your spine, and exhale, push the spine down into the ground, creating a bit of a tuck of the tailbone. Inhale, point the belly button forward. Exhale, point your belly button towards your face. Inhale, pelvis forward, belly button to the thighs. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, belly button to the face. Now do a couple more like this. Move at your own pace, move with your breath, and know that these movements can be big or small. So sometimes our lower back holds a lot of tightness and tension. I have a tendency to do that myself. And so sometimes I don't like to make the arch really all that large. It depends on how my body feels in that moment. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do as well. Maybe you make the back bend large. Maybe you keep it small. Maybe you focus on that drawing down and in and tucking the tailbone. So do what works for you. Make each and every movement feel good, especially here in the beginning. Let's do about 3 more wherever you're at, just like this. All right, and then slowly just return back to neutral. Pelvis just in neutral. You're not pushing down or lifting up, just right at the center. And if you've got something under your head, a blanket, something like that, remove it. This is one of the few movements or few poses that we really want to keep the neck in neutral. And, well, let me be specific. So you can set that off to the side, but your neck is in neutral for most of us when we place something under the back of the head. That is why we do that, because that brings us to neutral. But we don't want the head pushing into anything unstable, and we don't want the chance that maybe you've lifted your head too much. Oftentimes, students will put too much height under their head, and so especially because I cannot see you, just remove whatever is under the back of your head. You're better off here with nothing. Okay. Arms alongside the body, palms face down, knees bent, feet flat, moving bridges. We're going to start with one pelvic tilt. So inhale, just lift the ribs, lift the lower back, point your belly button towards your thighs. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, point your belly button towards your face. Now push your feet down. Inhale, lift your lower back, lift your mid back, push the feet into the ground, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, relax throat, neck, and jaw, relax the shoulders. Now slowly lower down, peeling back down onto the mat, the upper back, the mid back, the low back. Keep the tuck of the tailbone, and then eventually all the way down. Now you can come through another pelvic tilt or right back into it, but push the feet down. Inhale, lift your seat, your lower back, your mid back, peel up off the mat, lift your hips, squeeze your glutes, but keep shoulders relaxed. Exhale, slowly lower down. Keeping again that tuck of the tailbone. So throughout the bridge, as you're lifting, while you're at the top, and as you're lowering, you're pointing your belly button at your face. Keep the lower back long. Think about crunching through the front side, like you're trying to shorten your hip flexors. Oftentimes, I'm encouraging you to lengthen your hip flexors. Here they are lengthening, but imagine you're trying to shorten them. Okay, now, but as all of that is happening, relax the shoulders, relax the arms, soften through the hands. Now we're going to do one more just like this. And it's your option to stay right here or maybe add movement through the arms. So as you push the feet down, inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms, palms face each other, fingertips reach to the sky. As the hips lift up, you squeeze the glutes, maybe thumbs tap the floor behind you, and you exhale, lower the spine, lower the arms. Can you sink the arms and the seat in your spine so that they lift up at their highest points at the same time, and they come back down to their lowest point, to the starting point at the same time? Your arms have a lot farther to go, so they've got to move quicker. It's not about moving at the same speed. It's synchronizing to different speeds to meet at the same time. Okay, now if you're moving the arms, relax the shoulders. Think about shoulders still coming away from your ears towards your hips. And allow the shoulders to go away from the ceiling towards the floor. Let's do 3 more like this. Inhale as you lift. Lift the hips, squeeze the glutes. I want you to feel this work here. Exhale, slowly lower. Again, things synchronized, moving at the same time. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Shoulders away from the ears towards the hips. Shoulders away from the ceiling towards the floor. Arms are long, but relax as much as you can. 1 more. Ground evenly through the feet, knees hip distance. Lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, tuck of the tailbone the whole way as you exhale. Belly button towards the face, shorten your hip flexors. Create wrinkles by your belly button, slowly lower all the way down. Take constructive resting pose, walk the feet out wide, mat width distance apart, knock the knees in, maybe bring the hands to the belly. Take some deep breaths. One more deep breath here. Notice how you feel. Inhale. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Take any movement or variation here that feels good. You can stay still, you can rock, you can point and flex the feet, wiggle the toes. Give yourself a couple more breaths here. And then think about relaxing the shoulders in those same directions, even here. All right. And then make your way up to a seat. You can rock through, you can roll to the side, but come up to a seat. And I would lift your hips, sit on something. I might have said this previously, but what's funny is at McFetridge, where I teach, and I've been teaching live in person for a while now, I always say, I encourage students to elevate their hips, allow the hips to relax, and they are really reluctant. They like sort of don't believe me. I don't know. Like sometimes go through the whole explanation, but there's a handful, like there's like a lot of people, whatever. Okay. I encourage you to sit on something, to elevate the hips, to allow the hips to relax, but it is up to you. Okay. We're going to focus on the spinal movements like we always do. I want you to think about keeping your neck in neutral throughout this, and then we're going to add neck movements. We want to focus on the spine first and then add through the neck. So, neck in neutral, one step further, to keep your neck in neutral, your nose is pretty much over the center of your chest, over your heart, right? So we're going to keep it there. We're not going to really look in too many directions until I tell you to. All right. Shoulders relax, but lengthen up through the crown of the head. Shoulders away from your ears, down towards your hips. And think about allowing the shoulders to come back towards the wall behind you. Okay. Take a deep breath here, just like this. All right. And focus on just on the spine here. Inhale, draw the belly forward. Lift your chest, lift your heart, but keep your nose sort of forward again, neck in neutral. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the ribs back. Chin to the chest, looking down, maybe just towards your lap. Inhale, draw the belly button forward. Lift your chest, lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the ribs back. Chin to the chest, just let the head sort of drop, look down at the belly. Inhale, draw the belly forward, lift the chest, lift the heart. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Now this one, we're gonna do just a couple more, but maybe you add a little bit more through the neck and through the arms. So inhale, draw the belly forward, reach the arms out in opposite directions, and maybe look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the ribs back, chin tucks all the way in towards the chest, crown of the head forward, reaching the arms forward. Inhale, draw the heart forward, arms out, chest expanding as you look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, chin tucks to the chest, reach your arms forward like you're wrapping your arms around a big beach ball. Let's do one more of each. Inhale, this time really think about expanding vertically and horizontally. Exhale, do the same for your backside, vertically and horizontally. Now this time, we're going to inhale, reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. The shoulders relax down towards the floor. Neck in neutral, keep looking forward. Exhale, bring the right hand down, sweep the left fingertips over. You're just going to keep looking forward. Inhale, reach up, fingertips up, crown of the head up. Exhale, left hand down, right fingertips reach. Neck continues to stay in neutral for two more just like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So focus on your spine. Focus on the movement being more in your waist, in your torso here. Soften shoulders, soften throat, neck, and jaw. Relax the muscles of your face. Relax the arms all the way to the fingertips. Arms are lifted, but not working too hard. Now we can add the neck. If you'd like, inhale, look up. Exhale, place the right hand down, look down towards your mat. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, place the left hand down, look down at that left hand as right fingertips reach. We're going to do 2 more like this. You can do the movement through the neck or not. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you look down. Inhale, maybe you look up. Exhale, maybe you look down. But we're going to do 1 more on each side just like this. Now do what feels good in your body. Do what makes sense for you on each side, in each movement. Now we're going to return back to the center. We're going to keep the neck in neutral. So inhale, crown of the head up, fingertips up. Exhale, drop the arms, take a twist, but keep your neck in neutral, nose over your heart. Just rotate in the upper spine. Inhale, return back to the center. Exhale, drop the arms, rotate the spine through the torso, but neck in neutral, nose over heart. 2 more like this. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate, drop the arms, just rotate through the chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate again through the chest, through the waist, more in the torso and in the spine. 1 more like that, just on each side. Really isolating through the spine. And now we're going to do a couple more on each side. Maybe you inhale, look up. Exhale, drop your arms and turn and look over towards the wall behind you. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, maybe look up. Exhale, drop your arms, look over your left shoulder towards the wall behind you. 2 more on each side. Inhale, maybe add the neck, and maybe you don't. Maybe your neck is already sick of looking up. That's okay. That's all right. Do again what feels good in your neck. And continue. Even if you're twisting, even if you're looking over that back shoulder, reach the crown of the head up. We're rotating and lengthening. All right. Inhale 1 last time, all the way back to the center. Crown of the head up, shoulders relaxed. Inhale. Exhale, let the arms come down, and behind you, we're going to take another neck stretch. Interlace the fingers behind you. Reach the knuckles, reach the knuckles down and back. Shoulders down and back. Okay. Now bend at your elbows and draw the arms so that I'm going to turn a little bit. So that it's like you're reaching your knuckles over towards your right side. So the back of your left hand will be sort of against the back of your body. So your knuckles will sort of point over towards the side. Like if you're wearing a ring, you're showing your ring over to the right side. Maybe, depending on how your left shoulder feels, maybe those arms come around so your knuckles reach forward. Imagine if there was a mirror in front of you towards sort of that direction in front of you. I was going to say your reflection, but I could still just say forward. Can you tell I've been teaching in person where they have a mirror in front of them? Okay. So do what feels good. It's about letting the shoulder come down and back, just like a lot of these other movements, right? Down and back. Okay. Now, inhale, crown of the head up towards the sky. Exhale, let the head drop over to the right side, right ear towards the right shoulder. Okay. Let both shoulders relax. Lift the chest. Most often in this pose, we're in a back bend. So make sure your pelvis is in neutral, spine is in neutral. All right. Now, you could just let your head hang right here. This might be the spot for you. Maybe you need to change the angle in through the neck a little bit. Maybe you draw the chin down, or maybe the chin up, or maybe in or out. But find sort of the angle, the spot where you think, ooh, that's it. That's where I hold my tension. And take a couple deep breaths there. Take 1 more deep breath here on the side. And then slowly return back so the ear is right over the shoulder. And then inhale, return the neck all the way back to neutral, crown of the head up towards the sky, the entire spine to neutral. And then release the arms behind you and then interlace the fingers the other way, the way you don't typically take. Reach the knuckles back, shoulders down and back. And then allow the arms to reach over to the left. So the back of your right hand is sort of against your your left lower back, or like the back of the ribs, or sort of wherever it sort of meets, right? It depends on your shoulder. Maybe your knuckles are facing over to the left, or maybe they wrap around the waist so that your knuckles sort of point forward, but it's about getting especially the right shoulder down towards the hip and back towards the wall behind you, but also let the same thing happen to the left shoulder. Okay. Sometimes when I put in or take out my contacts, I really have a moment where I'm like, what side is my right and what side is my left? To kind of like, okay. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up. Exhale, let the head fall over to the left. All right, let the head fall over, left ear towards the left shoulder. Okay, both shoulders down and back, but lift the chest. Now you might be comfortable right here, just with the head just sort of hanging right where it landed. That might be exactly where it needs to be. Or maybe you turn and sort of twist and just be gentle and careful with yourself. You know your body. You know there's no rush. Just find where you go, oh, that feels good. And then just stay there. Take a few deep breaths. And again, oftentimes with our arms behind us, we end up in a back bend. So draw the ribs in, lengthen the spine. One more breath. And slowly return the head back so you're looking forward. And then slowly return it all the way back up, crown of the head up towards the sky. Spine entirely in neutral. Allow the arms to reach back one more time. Pull the heart forward, expand horizontally and vertically. And then you can release the hands, release the arms, and then take whatever feels good. Maybe that means rolling the shoulders, maybe something through the neck, maybe seated cat and cows. So like I said, I want us to focus mostly vertically, but certainly we're opening in all directions, right? Okay. All right, let's come into tabletop. Let's set up on all fours on our hands and knees. We're not going to be here long, so you don't need any support under your knees, but I would bring blocks to the top two corners of the mat. All right. So from tabletop, walk your hands one handprint forward towards the top of your mat. Spread the fingers wide. Now, just sort of a reminder, I know that nobody watching this video is a beginner, but when I have beginners in class, I'll tell them their pointer finger points forward towards the mat. If you're not a beginner, it's your middle finger pointing forward towards the mat, but ground through the base of the pointer finger and the webbing between pointer finger and thumb. Hook the toes under. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time here. We're going to stay for several breaths. Now, if staying in down dog for several breaths isn't your jam, we're eventually going to come to forward fold. So you can go there early, or you can always take child's pose. Maybe you just want to stay in down dog and you want to stay still and just see how it feels to be there, or maybe you add movement. You've got options, but let's stay for about 3 to 5 more breaths. Just exploring what it feels like to be in your body, especially upside down. All right. From downward facing dog. Deeply bend your knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, take baby steps, traveling forward into forward fold Uttanasana. And same thing, we're going to stay for several breaths to explore how it feels. So you can just stay still. You absolutely can do that. Or maybe you add movement. Maybe you bend the knees, straighten the knees. Maybe you straighten one, bend the other, and switch. Maybe you grab the opposite elbows, sway, trace a figure 8. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. Take yoga mudra here, interlacing the fingers, reaching knuckles to the sky. Shift weight into toes, weight into heels, inside, outside of the feet. 3 to 5 more breaths. All right, make your way into a traditional forward fold. Weight back in the heels, soft bend in the knees. Just let the upper body hang and surrender to gravity. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. Crown of the head forward, you're looking down at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold forward, chin to the chest, you're looking through your legs to the wall behind you. Push down through the heels, inhale, rise up, and continue looking forward, maybe looking forward and eventually up between the hands. Exhale, bring the hands through to the heart. Allow your eyelids to softly close. Relax the shoulders. Take a couple deep breaths here. Tadasana, mountain pose. All right. Inhale, circle the arms. Maybe look up between the hands, but exhale, fold forward, chin to the chest, drop the head, look between the legs to the wall behind you. Inhale, reach crown of the head forward, looking down towards your mat. Exhale, fold forward, look between your legs to the wall behind you. Inhale, rise up, ground through the heels. Inhale, rise, lifting the chest, maybe looking up between the hands. 2 more. Exhale, fold forward. Chin to the chest, let the upper body fold and hang. Inhale, lift up halfway. Lengthen, crown of the head forward. Exhale, chin to the chest, fold forward. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, maybe look up. 1 more. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, circle the arms. Lift the chest, maybe look up, but bring the hands to the heart. Relax the shoulders, take a deep breath. Okay. All right, let's take a balanced pose. And instead of taking tree pose, which is a great pose, of course, let's take just a slightly different variation where instead of allowing the foot to rest, the inner thigh and the knee bends out, let's take more of a quad stretch where the knee will stay in, it'll still bend, but we'll just grab onto the foot. So maybe you need a strap, potentially. You also could just grab onto your pant leg. I'm not picky about it, but ideally you could actually kind of successfully grab the top of the foot with either your hand or a strap. Okay, set yourself up however you want to be though. So, feet hip distance, weight in the heels, out of the toes, shift your weight into the right. Okay, you're going to bend your left knee and using that left hand, grab onto the top of the foot where the shoelaces are, or hook a strap to that part of the foot where the top of the foot are, where the shoelaces would go. Okay, now we're going to draw the thighs in toward each other. The knee often wants to splay out or go back. I don't want you to tip forward. Think about the right side of your body is doing the same thing it would do in tree pose. Okay, so you're grounding through the right heel, lifting up through the chest, lengthening the spine, and maybe deeply bending the left knee, heel into the back of the thigh to feel a stretch in the top of the left thigh. Okay. Now, right arm, maybe just rest alongside the body. I like the hand at the hip. Look at something that's not moving. Maybe you take a neck stretch here and challenge your balance a little bit. Continue to lengthen up, but maybe you turn and look over your right shoulder. Find a spot over your right shoulder. Find that spot. We're going to stay 3 more breaths. Okay, now return your neck to neutral. So nose over the heart, nose over the center of your chest. Make sure you're not allowing that left foot to slingshot down. So slowly release it with control. Think about how we release tree pose, right? Control. And my right leg was working really hard, so it needs to move around. Maybe yours does too. Give yourself a moment. And then same thing, second side. So feet hip distance, toes forward, weight in the heels, shift over to the left, bend the right, use a strap or your hand grab onto the top of the foot where shoelaces would go. Draw the inner thighs together, knees together. Think about your thighs being flush with one another. Instead of the right knee coming really far forward, if you look down, can your thighs look as if you were just in mountain? You just bent the knee, right? It didn't come forward. It didn't splay out. You're not tipping over. You're not leaning over. Okay. So set everything back up. Again, truly all you did was bend the knee. All right. So lift the crown of the head, soften the shoulders, ground through the left heel. Left hand can be at the hip alongside the body. It can reach out, truly whatever works. Balance poses especially, do what works. You can look forward. Maybe you challenge your balance, take a bit of a neck stretch, look over your left shoulder. And just like any other balance pose, find a drishti, find a focal spot. Let's take about 3 breaths here. And then return the head and the neck back to neutral very slowly. Make sure the foot doesn't slingshot. Allow it to come down. And the left leg, oh my goodness, it was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. Release it out, move it around, wiggle it around. Okay. And then come on back to the top of your mat. Take a strong mountain pose, Tadasana. Push down through the feet. Lengthen up through the spine, lifting the chest, softening shoulders. Relax the arms. Lengthen through the back of the neck, crown of the head to the sky. Nose pointed straight forward. Take a deep breath. Inhale, circle the arms, maybe even look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, chin to the chest. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time. And again, just a few breaths here. Maybe you add movement. Maybe you stay still. Maybe you take child's pose. What about 3 breaths? Okay. And we're going to meet on our stomachs. So from wherever you're at, come on down onto your stomach. And so I mentioned lengthening a little bit more in this practice vertically as opposed to horizontally. And so that's what we're going to do here is take back bends, but I want you to think less about like a deep spinal back bend and more about lengthening almost from like the bottom of your chin or the bottom of like your jaw down to like your navel. Like I guess that is a back bend, but thinking about it just sort of in a different way. Something about that for me sounds different. Maybe it doesn't for you. I guess I'm thinking more sort of upper half, right? Okay. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Bring your arms alongside your body. And we're just going to take a little locus here. So tops of the feet on the ground, toenails on the ground, bring the feet and inner thighs together. Arms alongside the body, palms facing in, thumbs down towards the mat, pinkies to the sky. Keep the back of your neck long here. Continue to look at your mat. Okay. Push the hips down. Inhale, lift the head, neck, chest, shoulders, arms and hands. Reach your fingertips back. Draw the crown of your head forward. I want you to think about this sort of from your waist up. So pulling heart forward, shoulders down and back towards the wall behind you and down towards your hips. Lengthen the back of the neck, no wrinkles in the back of the neck. One more deep breath. Locust, expanding through the chest and the heart. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Maybe stack your hands or stack two fists. Rest your forehead or your cheek. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, so in that version, we were keeping the back of the neck long. So I suppose I spoke too soon when I said think about lengthening from under your chin or from your jaw. We'll be doing that in another version. So I'm sorry if I confused you, my bad. I realized as we were in it, I was like, oh, okay. But right where you're at, take one more deep breath. Okay. All right, now we're going to come to Sphinx. So the forearms are going to come down onto the ground. And this is because you've got the support of the forearms and it's less about strength. It can be more about sort of the stretch. We can, if you would like, add through the neck. All right, so elbows are under shoulders. You'll know that they are if you can curl the fingers around them. Instead of just being able to brush the fingertips, you should be able to curl them around pretty well. All right. And the hope is that your upper arm bone is vertical. So as you're looking at me from the side, the hope is that this is a vertical line. This will increase the depth of the intensity of the back bend. This is where we start to get into more back bends instead of like chest and neck. So maybe they have to come forward a little bit, and then it is a little bit more in the upper section. So if you bring this back, which most teachers and myself included will usually cue directly under, but if that doesn't feel good for you, which it doesn't for me right in this moment, I'm going to crawl the elbows forward, and that feels like an appropriate space for my back. Okay, and then the palms will come down onto the ground, fingertips forward. Okay, now this one we are still active. So you're going to push the palms down, push the forearms, the elbows down into the ground. Don't allow the shoulders to shrug. You're lifting up. Now hips are going to stay heavy. You're sort of allowing the ribs to drop, but pull the heart forward. Now again, you can draw the elbows in towards you to let the back bend come down a little bit more towards your spine. Then it's like less in the chest and more in the spine. So that's up to you. And you can keep the neck in neutral. Just keep looking straight forward, same direction your fingertips are pointing, more or less. Or maybe you lift the chin away from the chest and you start to look up. But you're lifting up through the chest, pulling the heart forward, making sure you're not just shrugging the shoulders. So there is work happening here. But we can feel the expansion. 3 more breaths. And then if you are lengthening through the front of your neck, if you're looking up, draw your chin back towards your chest, look forward, and then push the palms into the ground, lift the elbows, let the elbows just sort of splay out wide, and then same thing. You can stack the hands, you can stack two fists, rest your forehead down, resist the urge to take child's pose. I know you probably want to, I do too. But we're gonna have the option to take another back bend. Now, we're gonna rest for a few breaths more, but option to take one of the poses we've already taken. Locust, where you just lift the arms up, maybe Sphinx, what we just did, or maybe you want to take some cobras. Maybe you're feeling like, you know what, I really am liking these back bends and I want to keep doing more. So I'm going to give you that option in just a few moments, or maybe you just stay right here. Take one more breath here, no matter what. Okay, and now you're going to choose your option. So you could stay right here. You could bring your arms alongside your body, lift your chest, and work. You could bring the forearms down, come down into Sphinx and still work, but open a little bit more. Or hands under the shoulders. Now, ideally, hands are actually a little bit closer to the upper ribs and less in the shoulders. But then you'll draw the elbows in, tops of the feet down onto the ground, and inhale, rise up any amount. So maybe that's a little, maybe that's a lot. I'm going to move with my breath because that's what my back is asking me to do. But maybe you inhale, lift, and you hold it. Maybe you inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. But I want you to do something that feels good in your chest, in your neck, in your spine, in your shoulders. Focus on the upper half, just feeling good and feeling expansive through the front side. We're going to stay about 3 more breaths wherever you're at. And then one more time. Allow your forehead to come down onto either fists or stacked hands, or maybe rest your teeth. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Face down on your mat, breathing into your back, allowing it to relax. All right, and you are welcome to stay right here, but you are probably really itching for a child's pose. So if that feels good for you, bring the hands under the shoulders. Push the hands into the ground, slide the hips back. You can keep the knees together, knees can come wide, whatever feels good. Forehead can rest on the mat, hands, fists. But take something that feels good where your back can relax. And so thinking about, I was saying earlier, maybe there's this distinction for you, thinking neck and chest versus back bends. And as we were going through those last movements, I sort of realized what it was. Just using the phrase back bend just makes you think of the back side. What's happening of the back side of the body in a back bend? We sort of shift our focus to the back side, right? Because it's in the name, back bend. But I want you to think about, as we were moving through these, expanding the front. Yes, the back is bending, but the front is expanding. The front is opening. And feel that same expansion here now through the backside. It was bending. It was working. It was extending. Now let it lengthen. Create length horizontally and vertically along the spine, and think along rib to rib, hip to hip, laterally and horizontally as well. Take 3 more breaths here. All right. And bring the hands under the shoulders. Push the hands down into the ground. Lift your chest, lift your torso, come back upright. Okay. All right. Come into a seated position. You don't have to sit on anything here. Just come right on down onto your mat. And we're going to take a seated twist. So we've been focusing on expanding this sort of vertical again. Well, let's do a little horizontal. Okay, so start with the legs long. Keep the left leg long, bend the right knee. Bring the bottom of the foot down to the inner thigh or alongside the outer thigh, but the base of the big toe is pushing down into the ground. Left foot is flexed, toes to the sky. Right hand will come down like you're reaching for the back right corner of your mat. Left hand reaches up. Inhale, crown of the head to the sky, lengthen through the back of the neck. Exhale as you turn over to the right. Take this twist. Left arm might wrap around the right leg and hug it in, or hook tricep to quad. All right, now think about right hand pushes down to reach the crown of the head up long. Lengthen through the back of the neck. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. Start with the nose over the heart. Okay. Now right hand pushes down to maintain that lift and that length. And now maybe you draw the left arm into the right thigh to turn your chest and your heart over to the right. And maybe you continue that turn as you allow the chin to look over the right shoulder towards the wall behind you. Now right hand pushes down to reach crown of the head to the sky. Left hand and left arm, pushes to turn everything to the right. 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale to the right. And then inhale, slowly return the head, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the spine, the legs. Give yourself a moment. And then we'll switch sides. Keep the right leg long, bend the left knee. Bottom of the foot's either inside or outside of the leg. Base of the big toe down on the ground. Right foot flexed, toes to the sky. Left hand comes behind you like it's reaching for the back left corner of your mat. Right fingertips reach up as you inhale, lengthen the spine, lengthen the neck. Exhale, turn just at the waist. Focus on the spine here as you turn over to your left. The right arm might wrap around the left leg and hug it in, or tricep to quad. Okay, focus here at the waist. Start at the bottom. So you're turning at the waist, turning at the chest. Inhale, lengthen the spine up. Exhale, really rotate your chest to the left. Maybe continue that rotation and turn and look over your left shoulder. Chin reaching over towards that left shoulder as opposed to the center of the heart. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, turn to the left. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, rotate deeply. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, return, head, neck, shoulders, arms, spine, and legs. Take some time to move around. All right. Now I am going to give you 2 options for our final pose. We're going to take a supported back bend, and it's going to be the supported back bend of your choice. So you can take fish pose or you can take bridge pose. Now, if you can imagine both of those shapes from a side profile, it's sort of tough. Students have a hard time seeing this, and I guess I do too. They're both back bends. They are both back bends, which I know is what I said I don't really want you to focus on. I want you to think about opening through the front instead, but yes, it's the same thing, right? In both of them, you're making this sort of rainbow shape, right? Whether it's down at the bottom or up at the top, there's still like a rainbow shape in your body happening. So in bridge pose, that rainbow shape happens a little lower, so it focuses a little bit lower. And it's really lengthening the back of the neck. Bridge pose is great to lengthen the back of the neck. So if you feel like you do this a lot, we actually want to lengthen the back, right? Okay. But in fish pose, it's the opposite. And you could take a version. I always like to say the block under the head is one height higher, but it could be one lower. And then you're really opening through the front. So if you feel like you're doing this a lot through the day and sort of chin to the chest, like looking down like this, you might want to open here. And then you can get that rainbow shape up higher. So you're going to take what feels good for you. We're going to all stay for a while. But you set yourself up in the pose that makes sense for you. Some sort of thing where your body, again, makes this rainbow shape in a side profile. Whether it's in the upper half or the lower half, that's up to you. Because maybe your chest and shoulders have had enough. I'm just going to honor that, and I want to make sure you honor that. Maybe they've just had enough, like I think mine have. I would personally rather bridge pose, but maybe you're like, oh no, I was just getting started. I need more. I want more. Then go ahead and get yourself more. Absolutely. And I know that you guys know how to get into either one of these poses, but in fish pose, you might have your knees bent or your feet flat. No, I'm sorry. You might have your knees bent and your feet flat, or you might have your legs long and extended. If you're in bridge pose, you've got more options. Arms in either pose can be alongside the body or out in opposite directions. If arms are out in opposite directions, we can just add the horizontal opening. It's like, why not, right? That's not the focus, but two birds, one stone kind of thing. Okay, so if you're in bridge pose, you can do different heights of the block, just like you can in fish. But also in bridge, you could lengthen your legs. Now you're going to shift the focus more into your hips and your lower back, which we did not focus on. So just make sure it feels good in all of these lower back, pelvis, hip flexor, quad places. Or maybe you take a legs up the wall version with your legs up an imaginary wall. Your spine is still making like one half of that rainbow shape, which is what we want. Or maybe just keep your feet on the ground like I'm gonna. But no matter where you're at, you are in a pose that feels good in your body. You're somewhere where you can feel the expansion in the front side. And the expansion might be through the neck, through the chest, by the ribs, or maybe by the low belly and the hips. But somewhere there is length and expansion happening. And you don't have to do any work to create it, so let your tension go. Let any physical stress that you might be holding on to, let it release. Relax through the chest. Relax the neck. Soften the jaw. Relax each and every muscle of your face. Stay for 3 more breaths. If you're in fish pose, bend your knees, bring your feet flat onto the ground, and slowly roll sideways, completely off the blocks in a tucked fetal position. Take several breaths there and then roll onto your back without any props beneath you. If you're in some version of bridge, come back to a traditional supported bridge, knees bent, feet flat. Take a couple breaths. And then push the feet down, lift the hips, slide the block off to the side, exhale, slowly lower. And we're all gonna meet on our backs in constructive resting pose. Knees bent, feet flat. Feet at the wide edges of your mat, knock the knees in. Maybe you have something under your head, a little support, that's all right. But no blocks under your spine anymore. Inhale. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Take any movement that feels good, which maybe is just staying still. You know you've got lots of options. And then in your own time, there is no rush. Set up for Shavasana. So your body temperature generally drops after the movement, all the movement and then the stillness. So maybe you put layers on. But the goal is to find a position where everything can really rest. Where not only is there no work, no tension, no stress, no exertion, no active exertion, but also where your body just isn't even the focus. So it's not even about a stretch, an opening, a lengthening, even if it's passive, even if it's like a restorative passive stretch. It's not what we're after. Even that is distracting. And so find a very restful place for you to be. And allow every part of you to rest. The external, the physical, the tangible, and even the internal, the metaphysical, the invisible. Let every part of you relax. Gently deepen your breath and create subtle movements throughout your body, like rocking your head from side to side, running thumbs over the rest of the fingers as you wiggle your toes. Roll wrists and ankles, move arms and legs. And reach your arms overhead, stretching as if you just woke up from a long nap. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest and slowly roll over onto either side. Keeping your eyes closed and using the strength of both arms. Push down into the ground and come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat and maybe reflect on your intention. Let's join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. And to seal our practice, we will chant the sound of Om one time. Let's start with a deep and clearing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Ah. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me, for practicing with me, for trying new stuff, for trying to understand what I mean when I'm describing the difference between the front and the back. We were moving and I'm like, that's really all it is. I'm talking about really sort of from the waist up and focusing on the front instead of the back. That, like, again, just innately the verbiage makes you think back, the back, but I want you to think about the front. So I hope that made sense while we were doing it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays. It's all coming up so fast, but happy holidays and enjoy the rest of the year, the new year, all of it. Thank you so much. Bye.